Day, sitting with my guides, my team, and it was very much about, finding balance in life, finding balance with work-life balance. Also very much, they don't understand the work, how we see work. When I say they're my guides, my team. I hear information from source, and they're very much saying about how life should just be so simple, as in you should be in being able to be freer, to be able to enjoy life to some degree. I love this. I have a guide that's coming and giving me this information, and really don't know how life works on planet Earth. But anyway, so what's happening is my guide's coming in, and my guide's very much saying right now that life, we should make it much more easier than we have done before. So by what they mean by that is by saying that not to get so caught up in those everyday things that we have going on for us. Okay, let's have a little listen and see what you mean. Okay, thank you. They're saying very much about it's time for nurturing, creating balance in your life, and it's very much so by, and they've said this before, about how your body is a vehicle of your soul, is your vessel. And as in, as in like having a new car, you would take care of that car. You would clean it and polish it, and you would hoover out the inside, and you would take it to the petrol station and fill up on the right gas. Right, okay, I shall explain. Very much so what they're saying right now is to be really aware of what you're digesting. And they've said this before and said this quite recently. At the moment, there's a lot of sensitivities on the planet because there's a bit of a shake-up going on the planet. There's a bit of like a wave of information going around the whole planet. There's changes going on the planet right now, and they're talking about very much like governmental changes. They're talking about the infrastructure of the planet right now, not the infrastructure as in nature said, not in the internal part of the planet, but they're talking about the infrastructure of our governments and legislations and how people are seeing things. And it just feels like, they just said like a pack of cards. So what they're showing me is at this moment, all that you can do for yourself is that you have to self-care, you have to nourish yourself, you have to take this moment to really nourish yourself, to take the moment, to take the time. Okay, thank you. And what they're saying is very much as in the food that you're taking in, to address what you're eating, to have a look at it. Now, if your body is okay with it and it feels okay once you've eaten it, then that's fine. But many of you are having some digestional changes in your body. This is the word that they're using, digestible. They're using this. So they're crossing over a couple of words here when they're saying this. So it's very much now by how you can address what you can do for you right now, and that would be to look at things that are happening for you in life. So if it's food, afterwards, check in afterwards. Okay, thank you. They just said to me, why don't you ask your body if that's what it really wants to eat first? Gosh, okay, so that's really much about having a relationship with your body. So it's like, do I really want, and this is for me, I'm talking about me, what's going on in my life as well. So this is not aimed at individuals, but if this makes sense, or it's connected to you, or you feel that this is related to you, then fine, or it resonates with you. But it's very much like, I've noticed it recently with certain foods. I've now started looking at how it makes me feel afterwards, and if it makes me feel sort of heavy and working at my optimum level, I've started to make some changes. Yes, with COVID, did put a little bit extra on. There's more of me, shall I say, to cuddle than there was before COVID. But I'm noticing it's not just about that now. It's more about looking at what it is that you're putting into your body, and if it's actually serving you, if that, whatever it is that you put into your body, whatever types of food that you're putting in, is it really serving you? Is it helping you to be at your optimum level, your peak level of fitness? Thank you. And a healthy well-being. Thank you very much. This is what they said. They said they don't quite understand how for many years, for many years, how people have really taken advantage, or have chosen to, okay, thank you, they just explained it. Now, as I'm talking, they're saying, there's a couple here that are saying more information. They said they understand what happens. The human has this habit of when not feeling right, or there's something going on in your life and you're feeling fed up or emotional, you reach for those, your little delights, your little treats in life. And so by doing that, you keep pulling in those foods that you keep getting a fix from, but are they necessarily the right food groups for you as an individual? Now, many people can eat certain foods and they're absolutely fine, whereas somebody would try and eat the same food and doesn't work for them. But what they're saying is really about you as an individual right now, to look at what's going on for you to get that balance in your life. Okay, they're saying it's okay, thank you. Let's have a, oh, thank you. Okay, I'm looking for a word and I'm scrambling through my dictionary right now. They're sort of saying it's like, oh, thank you, self-harming yourself to some degree, as in fueling up. This is what they just said, fueling up on your body when you know that how it makes you feel afterwards. Okay, so they're looking at how at the moment how we can be at our optimum level for us. Of course, also they're saying, okay, thank you, they're talking again when I'm talking by sort of saying, if you think certain foods also for your mind and how you feel, okay, when you're fueling your body on those foods that like an addiction in the sense of something that makes you happy. Okay, thank you. They're going to use me as an example now. Great, I can't wait. So with myself, I've had for years a thing about chocolate, and I know to make myself feel happy, I've been eating chocolate, and certain types of chocolates from certain stores in London, I'd eat the chocolates. But recently things have changed, and I'm finding it a little bit more difficult to eat those particular chocolates because I realised why I was eating the chocolates and the emotions and feelings around those particular chocolates and why I was doing it. And the whole process of going to my favourite store in London to go and get those chocolates, I understand now why I did that, and it makes sense. It was actually linking back to an old wound from my childhood that hadn't been addressed, and so every time I felt really down I was going to get this chocolate, which is fine to some degree, but not when you're spending hundreds of pounds on chocolates and eating in one go. That's not very good. So they're saying that now I've addressed that, it's more about looking at why. So, okay, thank you. They're saying, so look out for those triggers. Look at how you're feeling. You know, if certain things that you're doing and how you're feeling around there, what is it linked to? If it is literally that it's the happy moment and you want to and it's absolutely fine, just go ahead and do it. But if it's linked back to an emotional wound, then you need to look at it. It's something you need to look at, they said, because it's something that needs to be brought up to the surface, because there's layers of you. Thank you. They've just gone to my little tiny wooden doll. So there's layers and layers of wounds in each and every one of us. That's normal. We're humans. We've had our experiences, and we are recording all the experiences, and they're being held in the blueprint of our system. They're just going through so many layers. So each of the layers would represent a part of you, our childhood, the different parts of you, and wherever the wound is stored, in what the age limit, whatever it is. So with me it was chocolate, and it goes back to a very old wound when I was very young, let's say about 5 or 7. So by addressing that, I mean, I've been doing lots of techniques, I'm a therapist as well. By addressing that now, it doesn't seem to be much of an issue. So that's it. Anyway, they're talking about very much, and I'm like, thank you very much for mentioning me again. So they're talking very much about this nourishing and nurturing your soul right now. And when they were saying about your vessel, as if you had a brand new car, would you put fuel into it? No, you wouldn't. You would address what you put into it. And that seems to be very important. Okay, thank you. So they're talking about very much about at this moment on the planet, very recently, many of you have been witnessing a lot of change going on with the energy. And that's because of you've been sort of in this hibernation mode, being pulled away from society, sort of, thank you, sort of broken down into a sense of being individual. And now that, you know, across the whole world, there's, if you think, I'm looking at the map right now of the world, if you think at the moment with, okay, thank you, restrictions lifting or being put in place or whatever's going on, you're now thinking at the moment, they're sort of saying to me, it's more about this wave of bringing people together to some degree. It's more about the community. It's more about that's being raised to the surface at the moment. So everyone coming out, intermingling, meeting with individuals, families and friends. This is really vital for everyone right now, to start that connecting with individuals and family groups, and the community seems to be very important. Okay, thank you. We're very much like, okay, thank you, like animals. Now they just sort of said like cats and dogs, and cats have a different way of communicating with humans, and so do dogs. And it's very much similar to how us as humans, way we communicate with individuals. Some of us will want to be out socializing it with others, and some of us will just want tiny little snippets of it. Whatever your technique or how you do that, to be mindful, to be aware of how you're going to interact with others and how it might feel upon you. So for instance, what they mean is, when we go out at the moment, because some of us might be very sensitive, we've had this moment in time where a lot of empaths are picking up on the rest of the world. You're feeling what's going on in the world right now. You're feeling everybody's emotions and feelings. And so it can be quite sensitive to you. So it's just about, put your tin hat on, get into the trenches like as if for a war, to some degree, but very much about being aware of your own energy and about other people's energy. So when they say nourish and nurturing and being aware, self-care, what they're talking about is, if you're just like the food thing, not to have toxic food, it's also not to have toxic people in your life. So this is going to be that time when you are possibly feeling a little bit more sensitive. So if you're around people that are not like-minded, shall we say, who see the world in a little bit of a different light, who they have their different beliefs from you, you might feel it more than you've ever felt it before. Purely because we've had this, they just said meltdown on the planet. I don't know if that's the word I would use, but purely because of this change, what's going on the planet right now. So being aware of checking in with yourself, self-checking is so important, that you just check in how you feel. So you check in how you feel after you've eaten certain foods, how you feel around certain people. If you feel that your mood shifts, that you're in a sort of a good mood, and then suddenly, coming across a friend or someone in the street or a family member, that suddenly you're in their space and you're feeling either drained or you're feeling a little bit down in yourself, you're possibly picking up or even hearing their words they're saying about whatever's going on in their life. So there can be those moments. There is this thing like energy vampires. God, it's nothing to do with Dracula, even though I do like Dracula, it's nothing to do with Dracula, but it's very much those vampire energy drainers who come into our space and they actually drain our energy. So whatever thoughts or feelings they have about the world, sometimes they come into our life, and then sometimes what happens is it can drain our energy. So it's really important to be aware of those in our space who are around us that can be toxic for our own energy. Okay, thank you. They also sort of say, and locations like locations around the world, location in your home, create that space. Thank you.